Ronaldo, the Man United legend, as a self-confessed Man United fan, this has been a difficult time to balance what's been happening with Ronaldo and for the greater good of Man United. So, and you
He
and I
would
were
have
talking.
been he would have been a legend if he'd played for Chelsea.
Yeah, he would have. He is
Oh, he is.
arguably.
Oh, he's exceptional. He's exceptional. Yeah.
When you look back at his career, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
in football in general, Ronaldo will probably be regarded as one of the greatest players to have ever kicked a ball. Certainly, the only argument about whether he's the greatest in his generation is Messi, and it's whether you
Yeah.
think Messi is the greatest or you think Ronaldo is the greatest. And you know, I don't know how you sit in that debate. I don't know how people actually debate that. It's not often in football that you've had two people with such
Well,
longevity at the same standard as each other in two
yeah.
opposing teams. I don't think it's
Yeah.
ever happened before.
How long have they done it? 15 years?
It's got to be. It's got to be.
Unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
they've won everything there is to win.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly
I
at
think
league
in
levels.
Ronaldo's case, he might have one over Messi in the fact that he's been played in England is one it. He's played in Spain, it's one. He's played in Italy and has won it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Messi didn't need to go anyway. He made it Barcelona, whichever Barcelona team comes better.
I suppose there is an argument to that, isn't there? Because Ronaldo has played for Man United, the original kind of the first time he was there, and
Mm.
then he played for Real Madrid, and then he won at Juventus, whereas Messi has only done it at Barcelona.
Mm.
But
And he'll be doing it at PSG very soon.
yeah, for sure. But that Barcelona team was full of standout players, and
Oh, yeah.
as was the Man United team, as was the
Oh,
Real Madrid team.
Real Madrid. That's why they call them the Galacticos, isn't it?
Galacticos was actually before Ronaldo. That was the
Oh,
Zidane.
I thought they still keep their nickname.
Do they? I think they call them themselves that. The original Galacticos was the Zidane, Roberto Carlos,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the original Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah, and Luis Figo.
Yeah, just a phenomenal. Actually, and even David Beckham went there as a
Oh, yeah,
Galactico.
of course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You could
and
argue about Steve McManaman.
yeah, but he he
Yeah,
he played, he
he
played, and
was
he
there.
won.
He was there. Yeah, he was
Um,
there.
so it's yeah, arguably. So what we got going on with Man United at the moment, and you and I have spoken about this at the weekend, and the kind of where you and I agreed on this completely is if this was your average Premier League player playing in any
Oh,
Premier
yeah.
League team, it wouldn't be accepted. It just wouldn't.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, unacceptable behaviour. So the argument is, does Ronaldo's greatness excuse him from the same level of behaviour or the same expectancy of standards or integrity that you and I would get in our day-to-day jobs?
Yes. You've listened to top footballers in all the most dressing rooms. People like Maradona. Maradona or Ronaldinho is spent with his previous night. He's at the party, comes and he's first in the team. If you're an average player, you don't do that. So you are bringing something extraordinary and special. Is that right? No, it's not right. It's not okay. Is that fair? No, it's not fair. But what is fair in this world? Nothing is fair.
But
So those are the rules of the game,
if you look
unfortunately.
at because I mean, if you mentioned Maradona, you mentioned Ronaldinho,
Hmm.
when their party days caught up with them, they were both dropped from their teams, and
Of
nobody
course.
defended them.
Of course.
Whereas now we're in this position where, look, arguably, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, is at the latter stages of his career. He's
Yeah, he is.
he's not the player that he was 5 years ago,
No, not at all.
but he's kind of demanding the same treatment.
This is where it's you Manchester United say you call your bluff, man. You Ronaldo calls their bluff. That's where it's a standoff. Where we are at the moment, it's a standoff, and it's huge because there's a lot of money involved. Very so much money involved because of his name. Come on, how much following does he have on social media? Lots of it. He
I don't
comes
know if
into your
that. Sorry, I was going to say I don't know if that directly transfers to Man United's bank account though.
Oh, I thought probably when they when people buying T-shirts and all that kind of stuff.
When you sign a sponsorship deal,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, like with Man United, with Chelsea, whoever's got that shirt deal has the rights to all the money that's made off those shirts. Now,
Yes.
with a big, massive player, you get into the argument or the grounds of image rights. So
Yeah.
there may be a percentage that's paid to the player, but
Mm-hmm.
rarely, as I understand it, unless there has been an agreement within the contract, do the club receive more than the actual sponsorship deal. So if there's a sudden influx of t-shirt sales because Ronaldo came back to Man United, they sold, God knows how many millions of shirts. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean that Man United as a club will see any of the extra money in terms of the profits. Ronaldo might get a share of those profits because it might be an image rights deal. But whoever supplies the shirts
Shirts or max the money.
has already paid their money to Man United.
Mm.
So unless Man United have an exclusive, a different deal that says we also get a percentage of every shirt sold, which they might.
So with them, yeah, because as you say, it's a big player, so
Yeah.
there are a lot of caveats in it. It's a really, really big player. But
Because this
going
is the
back
thing,
to
people don't. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but companies don't pay £100 million for the rights to your shirt and then give you a profit of every shirt sold. Because how are
yeah,
they?
yeah,
The idea is we pay you 100 million, so we make 200 million.
sure, yeah, yeah. But but what I'm saying, going back to actually what actually happened as we discussed on Saturday, regarding his family and loss of his child and that kind of stuff. Everybody has got sympathy with that. Everybody gives sympathize with that, and it's not questionable. The thing is when it comes then to slugging your manager off, slugging your other colleagues off, that kind of stuff. They are a way of handling disputes
Yes.
with people, and that if doing it on a international media like that, obviously people kick back, and we've seen Wayne Rooney kicking back, and we've seen Gary Neville kicking back. People do kick back, and and is he
Well,
gonna go back to that dressing room where he's told those young players that they are lazy? Yeah,
I
of course, he's
sort of.
got the right to tell them because he's achieved.
I mean, look, Ronaldo can walk into any room in football and look around that room, and nobody's won more than he's won.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
that
he's
is
on
true.
a pedestal that no one else can stand on. There's,
There's only one room is that might be difficult for him. That's the PSG room.
who's actually won more than him, scored more goals than
Messi.
him.
They
There's,
oh, they're end about with each other, isn't it? The
but in terms of
competition still goes on.
but in
We will
terms of
make that
actual,
decision when they stop to play, when they stop playing.
yeah. But what I mean is, in terms of actual trophies and goals scored, I think
Mm.
Ronaldo's. I think, and I hope people in the comments correct us.
On Champions League, Ronaldo is leading. On He's got more hat tricks than Messi, I think. One or two more hat tricks more, but they're still playing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and Messi's got a few more years.
Messi is playing for a Champions League team right now, whereas Ronaldo is playing for a smaller team, which
Yeah, Thank you.
I thought I might just drop it in
Yeah,
there.
I did notice that little dig. But yeah, so I'm with you. It's you can't go on to the Piers Morgan show and call out your manager and expect to be welcomed back
Yeah,
with welcome arms. And like you said, let's not forget that his personal life has been incredibly difficult.
yeah,
And this happens to anybody in any line of work. Things happen that are incredibly difficult. And if
yeah,
you have a good, responsible employer and you have a good relationship with those people, you would expect to be able to go to work and say, I need some time out.
yeah. And nobody should question that because they fully because a top player or top manager or a top worker could not just turn up and say I don't want to work because you can't make those things up.
No.
Yeah.
So it's I guess sometimes like with all of these things, it's where you think you can draw a line in the sand. Just
Wow.
the fact that look, you are Ronaldo, you do get paid this much money. If you asked for a month off and were told no, that's a different argument. But that's not what you've said. You've said you have.
But he said in his interview, some of the executive did not believe him.
He didn't name those
Unfortunately,
executives,
yeah,
did he?
exactly. He didn't name which one, which would have been helpful, but maybe.
There's a difference between I don't believe you and you can have the time off. What I'm saying is he hasn't come out and said he approached Man United and said, "Look, I need a month off." Right? And if he does that, then I expect any club to give the player the time off
Mm,
because of the circumstances. Right? If you didn't do that, then I can only reflect on what I would expect, and I would expect you to turn up and do your job. Unless you're telling me I can't do my job right now because I have this going off at home and I need to be at home. And in which
mm.
case, that falls on me to do the responsible thing.
Yeah, that is true. But it's
Okay.
as I say, it's one of those headaches that Manchester United will have to go through, and because they are rebuilding, isn't it? And they've been rebuilding for the last how many years now?
Quite a
10
few.
years. Yeah,
Um,
since the great Alex left.
so the other thing is, would this even be a debate if it was an had it been Gary Neville in his day? Had it been even John Terry at Chelsea in his day? You
He
know,
wouldn't do that. John Terry wouldn't do that.
no, but nor would Gary Neville. But the point is, what I'm saying is, if this was Robbie Savage in his day, or if you have a run of the mill Premier League football player, if this was any other football player in the Premier League in any other club, would this be acceptable?
No, no, you remember the Lee Boyer and Dyer incident when they had a fist
Yeah,
fight?
yeah,
Yeah, right in the middle of the pitch,
in the
teammates
middle
were
of a
there.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Kid teammates. So things happen. And that incident was easily forgivable because tensions were rising up. They were in the middle of the match and everything. But this is planned.
this is premeditated,
Yeah, it's planned.
and the
They
argument
go this.
is you've been asked to play football
Yeah.
in a way that you don't like, and you're sitting on the bench and you don't like that.
Hmm.
It's not whether I agree whether he should be on the bench or not. I'm not.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the results speak for themselves, and we seem as a club to be getting better results without Ronaldo.
Yeah, the argument, I get that, but you could have even still better results with Ronaldo on it
No,
on the
no,
pitch.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I have no skin in the debate of
Yeah.
you know
So,
we're
so
better with him or without him.
I believe to some extent the coach was also trying to flex his muscles, but at the end of it is the buck stays with him. He's the one who gets fired for
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
decision he makes and the decision he doesn't make. So he's got the right to make those decisions.
Oh, look, just for clarity, so people know, you and I work together, and as you often point out to me, you're the boss. It's not my problem.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, you're right. It's not your problem. It's mine.
yeah. So the things, yeah.
So
The thing,
that's why, as you and I have discussed, that's why I have the right to say I want it done this way, because it's my problem.
yeah. So that is true, and I tell you, it's not my problem. That's your problem.
But
That
you
you've got
do,
to deal with it.
and
Yeah.
this is it. You
I
literally
actually,
do
that's
remind me occasionally. It's like, oh, by the way, I'm going home now, boss, because it's not my problem. It's your problem because you're the boss. And he's
yeah,
like, yeah, you're right. And that's why, like you say, when the shit hits the fan, it's on me. It's
yeah,
not on anyone else. It's on me.
yeah.
And that's the
So
same for
this is the
Eric.
sub.
That's it's the
Yes,
same for Eric Ten Hag. So
yes.
I'm going to, if I'm going to the shit's coming my way, if I'm going to die on that sword, it'll be because of how I want it done.
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna die on the sword, I've made the decision, and I'm happy to go
Yeah, exactly.
because with Manchester United, you will go
So
if the results don't
definitely.
come. Yeah, if the results don't come, you will go. You're not gonna use an excuse that I had Ronaldo, that you have him to use him or not to use him. That's your choice. You inherited a player. Yeah, it is.
So then,
But I think there is really more to it. We will never know exactly. Probably we'll know the details later, but there is more to it because Manchester
I
United haven't probably reacted to it
I think it's a
or
combination of
publicly.
yeah. Well, I think it's a combination of two things. I think it's one, Ronaldo underestimated how poor Man United. Or I think he went back believing that there was still a part of that Man United he knew and had experienced still existed,
Hmm.
and I I think he honestly believed or expected more from the team that was
Oh yes,
around him, and I think so. That I think that's one element of it. I think the other element is he is a player that is even at his level to his standard is starting to decline, and Man United can't prop him up. He
but
needs,
he had an option to go to Man City, didn't he?
but he didn't take it. And Man
That's
City, I
what I
don't
said.
believe Man City have ever confirmed that that was an option.
Let's see what happens in January.
So, well, that's going to be my last question. Would you beg him to stay or beg him to leave?
To see as a Chelsea supporter, actually, it's your problem. I don't care what happens there. Whether he stays or leave won't make any much difference. We've got our own problems.
Okay.
We've got our own problems at the moment. The more you guys are distracted, the better for our position to be in top four. So
So, if this was a Chelsea player behaving this way, in or out?
the club is bigger than you.
So, out.
Yeah, the club is bigger than you.
Yeah. So, I'm the same.
It
For
doesn't.
me,
It doesn't. No matter what your name is, the club is bigger than you.
yeah, I'm going to
Names
say the
come,
same.
names go.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
say the
names
same. What?
come, names go. You see, we have John Terry now to training our youth, a legend of the club.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard is now more managing Aston Villa. Everton, a legend of the club. So players come, players go. That's how it is. But the club is always bigger than any player or any manager.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go
Something,
with Man United need to sever their ties now.
yeah,
Move.
and
Everybody needs to move on.
yeah, exactly. And some things are generational. You see, the first generation when Rooney, Ronaldo played together during that time, the generation who watched that, enjoyed that, loved that, and that time is gone now. It's a new time for you. You don't have a lot of youth study. Okay, it's a new time for the Nelson Mount of our type of players, Race James and those type of players too. It's their generation now. So we are not talking about the time of Peter Cech. It's gone now. It's a new generation. So the same thing to Manchester United. You wanna hold on to one how old is he now?
7.
He's not Zlatan, is he? Probably more like Zlatan. We'll see. Zlatan will play until he's 60 and not 2 years about it.